So it seems like the Democrats this week were focused more on reaching Republicans
Yeah.
than people like you.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, and I mean, like when we have politicians that are willing to pay for a wall, you know, which, trust me, is not gonna stop immigration.
Right.
You know, like if you know about this, like immigrants are very, they have a lot of imagination. So that's not gonna stop immigration at all. That it can make it worse, actually, you know, or I don't know. But when you have that priority, instead of like taking care of the people that are already here, then I don't know, like I don't know what's their thinking or their yeah.
And I also imagine that the undocumented community is suffering even more so. I know, you know, they might be afraid to go get tested, afraid to go to the hospital if they're suffering. They're packed in close quarters with their family. And under this president, of course, ICE, they are targets. So they're probably in Chicago and other cities really suffering at a disproportionate rate.
Yes, so it's a lot of things, right? It's kids suffering from trauma because their parents, you know, have been taken by ICE. It's like people losing their jobs, and as they don't have documents, you know, like it's not as easy for them to go and look for other jobs, right? So yeah, as well, you know, like some people work in factories where like the owners of the factories don't really give those protections like masks, you know, PPE, which is very important in order for them to be protected. So I know like entire factories where a lot of those people are undocumented have been infected, right? And then, yeah, they have to worry about ICE. They don't get the stimulus check, you know? They don't get all those type of benefits. So, of course, we see that the undocumented population definitely are one of the most vulnerable people right here. And right now, also, what I'm seeing here in Chicago is the police brutality is also increasing here in Chicago. Like we have seen, like the past protests here in Chicago have been really, really brutal for our young people, right? So I feel like it's all of these issues, you know, that are going on in a pandemic, you know, where we need to start passing laws that are going to protect people. Like right here in Chicago right now, we're trying to fight for CPAC, which is a community council that is going to oversee the police force.
Yeah,
as well.
We just came from Milwaukee. They're fighting for the same thing.
Yeah, so we're fighting for that. We're fighting for leave the ban on rent control. We're fighting for Medicare for all. We're fighting for I don't even know, like we have like 20 campaigns going on, you know?
And what does it say to you that in the original, in March and April, when coronavirus was first a thing, I mean, the government snapped their fingers, $4 to $6 trillion they gave to corporate America.
Exactly.
But for you guys, they're negotiating for weeks, they can't figure it out, they go home. Right now they're home. They're not in DC.
Yep.
So for the corporations and the bourgeoisie, they could find that money really quick.
Yes.
But for Medicare for all, oh, how are we going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Green New Deal, how are we going to pay for it?
Yes.
Cancel rent?
For wars. They got money for wars. They got money to send. And let me tell you something. Like they have money to send like brown and black people to send to another country to kill another black and brown people, right? While brainwashing people and telling them this is all for the country. And like, I have never heard that black and brown people benefit from other countries or other people in other countries dying. I don't see any benefit of that. And and I have family in the military. And yeah, I understand some military people do it because there's opportunity of going to college, whatever, but it's not the way,
Yeah, a lot of them. I have a friend that was, couldn't hold down a job, was getting laid off, so went to basic training because he had to support his kid.
Yeah.
So you get good benefits, and
that is the only, one of the only options to come out of poverty.
Right.
But putting your body on the line,
And separating your family.
Exactly. And there's money for that, right? There is money for that. Why, instead of using that money to pay for wars, why can't they use that money to create more doctors here? Free college education. Free, that's something that they can use that type of money in order to have hey, we need doctors in this country. We need more psychologists. We need social workers. We need teachers. Invest in our communities. They talking about all the violence that is happening in the south side of Chicago. We are famous for the violence in Chicago, right? That's one of the main things that Trump supporters love to use, right? What are you doing about Chicago? First of all, I don't know. I know so many organizations. I don't even know their names of the many organizations that are advocating, for violence prevention in their communities, right? Especially brown and black communities. We are part of that. We are part of the advocating for investment in our schools, investment in programs for our black and brown kids. There was 50 schools that were closed in the south of Chicago. And you're asking yourself, why is there so much violence in here? This is from past. This comes from the past. This comes from bad choices that, mayors, and that we have told them. This is, if you close the schools, if you close mental health clinics, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be violence. Like I said, we have homeless people in the downtown Chicago, and also people that have mental health problems. Because there were so many mental clinics that were closed down here in Chicago as well. So when you're taking away all those programs and all those resources, this is what you're gonna have. You're gonna have violence. And trust me, more police, is not the solution to that.
Right.
It's not the solution.
Well, it also doesn't help. There's already a lack of jobs.
Exactly.
All the jobs that have been sent to other countries in Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So it's a whole mixed thing of things colliding together. How can people get involved? Maybe they do live in Chicago, maybe they don't. There's people all over the country dealing with similar things.
Yes.
If they can't physically come down somewhere, how do people get involved?
Well, like I say, there's so many organizations here in Chicago that are doing the work, really, really good work. The organizations right here, you can find community, try to look for community organizations, donate to those organizations, that are advocating for all of this. Because one thing that we don't have, because we are not funded by rich people, is money. We do all the stuff that we do here is volunteers. It's driven volunteers, passionate volunteers. We have teachers, we have nurses, we have doctors, lawyers. I can tell you how many people right here I know that they're also there's people that are essential workers right here. But we don't have money for all this. So look for those organizations, that are community, grassroots, rooted, and donate money to them. And yeah, I think that's about it.
I take it the local media is not exactly all over things like this. Maybe they come down for 5 minutes, take some photos, and then leave.
That's correct.
That's my experience.
That's correct.
When you go cover these things at the grassroots level, the local media doesn't really want to highlight these things either. Is that correct?
Yeah. Is it the way that we have been doing things is we try to do a lot of noise. You know, Pilsen Alliance, for example, we have made it to national news, but in order to do that, you have to do a lot of noise, and it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
I think media should be looking at these things, because at the end of the day, you know, this is like the information that everybody needs. My experiences with the immigrant community, a lot of them, they don't have this type of information. You know, I try to discern the information in Spanish as much as I can, but it's a lot less information in Spanish. So that's another kind of obstacle that we find. You know, I feel like if people had more information about all these things that are happening, you know, like as in right now, they are talking, I feel like everything is like an illusion or entertainment, right? Like instead of like seeing the real issues, people are concentrating on the looting, people are concentrating in all that stuff, you know, but they're not really seeing the roots of the problem. Why is people looting, right? Like, because, yeah, there is a need, you know, people don't have jobs.
They're broke.
Exactly.
They're desperate.
Exactly. People are desperate right now. Like, because of all these systems that have been put in place in order to keep you there, in order to keep you without any resources, you know. So that's part of the misinformation that is happening here in Chicago. Being like, for example, like I am a mother, right? I am a mom of 4, and I always had a full-time job plus this, you know. Like I have no rest sometimes, right? Like from Monday to almost Sunday sometimes, right? And you have people calling me a criminal, you know, thinking that I'm the one that is looting, you know, and I'm like it's not me, I'm sorry, but I don't condemn people looting, you know, because I know why they are doing it. But instead of doing that, I'm doing this, because this is solutions, long-term and short-term solutions in order to fix that problem of looting. And another thing is like, I'm sorry, but these buildings and those crystal windows right there are not worth it, the same thing as lives. You know, like when people are breaking into things, hey, you know, that's insured, it's gonna be replaced. Lives are not replaced.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.